All right, it's just about 10 minutes after the morning bell, and we are looking at Transcentrics Incorporated. It's about 13 million volume right now. Its usual daily average is 2.8. And we are putting our buy-in target at under $2. Right now, it's the volume leader, so we'll see if it gets down there. It would be a better sign if it continued to climb. Just a quick update, the top is about 260 right now. And if you want that trend to continue, we're going to have to pop over that. The buy-in is still targeted at under $2. Okay, so it did hop over for just a little bit, but got instantly rejected. There was actually a really big buy volume candle right here for it, so it does look good. We are raising our under $2 buy-in to just under 210, so sub 2s would be a nice spot to start buying in. Okay, so right now Transcentrics is a little bit of an accumulation mode. It's not dropping very hard or rising very fast, so we're just gonna continue to let it do what it wants to do. The EMA, or the 50 EMA, has risen, so our buy-in target is also rising from just under 220. Right now it looks like it's getting accumulated at 250, which is a good sign for us. We want the bulls to be in charge of this trade, so we want that to continue. But yeah, it's not a very good spot to buy in. Doesn't really know where it wants to go just yet, so we're going to let it do its thing and be patient on this one. Well, as much as Transcentrics was looking good in the morning, there is another stock that is actually climbing in volume and actually has more of price to volume rate, a greater price to volume ratio at about 8 times the volume. So we're going to look at RCON as well. I'm not saying completely give up on Transcentrics, but I do not see any big volume bars down here, which is not a very good sign. And it kind of seems like everyone else is looking at RCON, so I'm going to show you that chart right now. Okay, so here is RCON Technology, or RCON. As you can see in the morning, the EMAs were not very healthy, so I kind of overlooked it. The volume was there, but I don't really look at a stock until the EMAs have corrected themselves. There is a lot of green volume bars down here, and a lot more than Transcentrics, so we are gonna look at this a little more closely, probably pivot to this chart. Buy in as at $1.50 and under right now, and we're gonna just let it do its thing, see where it wants to go. But this is where the volume is at the moment, and if Transcentrics decides to pick up, and we will switch over to that. But right now, this has a better chance of a retrace. All right, so yeah, RCON is definitely looking good. This is definitely where the volume is today. We're going to go ahead and ditch Transcentrics. I will show you why in just a second. But we created a new top here, or at least we gapped right above it, which is a very good sign. As you can see, the 50 EMA is past our 150 target. So we're going to raise it along with it over to 160. Although I have a feeling that it'll be over that as well. But that is completely fine. The more bull volume we got on this chart, the better for us. And we're just going to let it do its thing some more and check back in just a second. So this is Transcentrics from the morning. As you can see, its volatility it's got a really tight range right now. And no clear trend as where it wants to go, and we're just gonna go ahead and avoid this one. Sorry for that assume. Really, there's no volume coming in. Oh, there is volume, but it seems like the market cap is just way too high for this thing to be very volatile. Not as much as RCON is. So we're going to go ahead and completely switch over to RCON now. Just a minor update here. The 50 is past our 160 mark, and we're going to follow it along up to 170. Also the top, I'm going to switch that up to 240. And yeah, chart looks good. The volume is still there. As you can see, these volume bars are tall and they're green, so we know who showed up. Hopefully we can get a big trend change here, up or down. It doesn't really matter, just something to help us determine where it wants to go. Just a couple quick changes here. We're going to raise our buy-in target to under 190, and the top looks like just a little lower at 235. Yep, this volume still looks good. All right, we're going to lower the top over to 230. There is kind of a big resistance at 230. EMA is still rising. We are still going to stick with our under 190 buying, but something tells me it'll dip just under $2. But for now, we're going to keep our 190. I'll raise it slightly to 195, but realistically, under 190 would be good. All right, so it's been a few minutes. It spiked over 230 all the way up to 250, which is what you're going to get with a low float. It's very erratic movements. And looks like we're going to try to buy in a sub twos. But chart looks good. The volume is still very strong. All right, so we didn't get the dip we wanted. Settled at around 226 to 230. Came back up to meet the top again at 250. The 50 EMA is steadily rising. But we want to go sub twos here, so we're going to go 220. Under 220 is the buy-in target. You will stay alerted if it drops below the 50 EMA. There goes RCON getting rejected at the 250 again. And dropping back down. 50 EMA is right at around 230. It is just choosing not to dip out. It's getting a little later in the day, but we're just hoping for somewhere in the sub twos now. It definitely looks like 250 is the cap, so 20-cent gain at 230 wouldn't be too smart. We're gonna make sure it drops below 230 at least. Okay, so it looks like it cracked at the 250 wall. Went right above 256, but I mean, it's still acting as pretty good resistance up there. 250 is 260 level. We're gonna raise the top to 255. As you can see, it just couldn't make a new high a day right there. But the volume is actually still alive. Its uptrend is actually quite strong. We're not trying to buy at the top, so we need some sort of a short attack to happen, and happen soon, because if it happens too late in the day, then we won't be able to buy in at a good average. All right, I gotta say, this is a tough trade. It's just too late in the day, no real dips, so it's been on an uptrend for a really long time now. It's you might have to aim for the 100 EMA at this point, because the 50 is just not a good it's not a good buy at it's at 240 right now, and 240 on the 50 with a wall at 250 at 10-cent gain was definitely not worth the risk. We definitely shoot down for the 100 EMA at this point. It needs to dip. I'm not sure what it's doing. It's just sort of bouncing off its own channel right here, but I predict a pretty big dip coming up here. If not, it's too risky to buy in at this point, especially with the roof at 250. All right, so here comes the RCON dip. Dipped under the 50 all the way down to 235, and like I said earlier, at this point we got to aim for the 100, because the 50 EMA is just way too high, especially that cap right there at the 250 mark. So we're aiming for the sub twos. And thing about the downtrend is, since it's been uptrending pretty much all morning long, I have a feeling this downtrend is going to be very quick and very fast, considering the low float. We'll see where it goes, but right now we are aiming for a buy-in at 222, under 222, right around 225. All right, here comes the downtrend. As I thought, it flashed all the way down to looks like 228. Still aiming for under the 100 EMA at 223, it looks like, so it could go under 220. That would be a good place to start a position. And yeah, it looks like it's gonna do it. Let's hope for the best here, and it does. Just a minor update. We did buy some at 229 actually. Just a little bit of a half position just in case this thing decides to rocket back. But we are still wanting to accumulate more under 220. And we're going to go ahead and see where she takes us. Anything above 229, anything above 230, I mean, we're going to make a quick stop loss just in case, because we do want the lowest average possible. All right, so we're going to change up a couple levels here. Our buy-in is at 229 with a quick 50% stop loss at 230, because we are still aiming for the 100. The roof, I believe, is at right around 240. If we can get 240, we can get our trend back. But the volume, this is the volume winner of the day, so we'll see if we can't retest 250. Check back in just a few moments. Okay, so it hit our stop loss at 230 for 50% of our shares, so we can go ahead and buy another 50% more. The top, we're going to bring it down to 233, and like I said, it touched 100, but we want it under the 100, so we're going to try to get it under 220. That'll be the best bet for a solid average. Buying here wouldn't really do much for our 229 average, so we're just gonna hopefully wait for it to drop under 220. But this is kind of perfect timing, good downtrend. Yeah, just gotta hopefully see what it does. Just a quick little update. So that drop, its lowest was 223. We already back up to our average at 229, actually 230 now. If we bought down there, it wouldn't have done much for our average, so we're going to see if it can pop over. Looks like 233 is the mark, and if it does, we can change that trend. So it did get rejected at 233, and we have dropped back down to under 100. And like I wanted it under 220. So hopefully it'll keep going down. I want to get our average down to $2, or as close to $2 as possible. Gonna let it drop a little more and try to get our 229 average as low as possible. Okay, so we're sitting at about 223 right now. That drop went all the way to 215 and it went right back up. I wasn't able to buy under 220. It was literally seconds under that, but hopefully it'll drop below 220 again. It's having a hard time getting over the 100 EMA right here. But at 223, it's not going to do much to our average of 229 if we buy it now. So we're just going to have to wait. And like 225, our average is still solid. All right, so we added some at 217. So our average now is at 223. Looks like it is still dropping. Anything above 223, I might have to sell some so I can buy more as it goes lower. We have got a serious short attack going on at looks like the bulls are trying to hold it at $2. Successful so far, but it's not looking good. We're still at a 223 average. Right now it's at 203, 205, and the trend hasn't changed yet. So hopefully this is kind of the end for the downtrend. I do believe it will come rocking back up soon. We will see where she goes. But yeah, I'd buy some more down here, but we got to see if that $2 holds. If it holds, it'll form a tiny little bit of a channel. We are up here at 223, and that is not too far away. So we'll see if we can't hold this $2 line. Looking okay so far. Just a little bit of update here. We've maintained the floor at $2. We got some pretty good solid volume bars up here. Right now it's about 207, 210. We are still at a 223 average. Now, I didn't really feel comfortable doubling down at the $2 mark, just because it's sort of not only the floor, but I mean, if it did drop below $2, it had a lot more room to follow, considering it gapped up in the morning. So hopefully this short rejection will trigger a short cover and we can get back up to 223 or more. Don't have a very good average right now, unfortunately, but the good upside is that we are fighting for an uptrend here. The downtrend seems to be over. Hopefully the volume picks back up and we can get out of 223 and focus on something lower, something around sub 2s. Okay, it is picking up a lot of bull volume now. We are up to 217, 218. I don't have much of a doubt that it'll go past 223. The answer, or the question is, should I sell half there so I can focus on more accumulation? Volume is over 17 times the average daily volume, so I mean, volume is definitely there. I think I'm going to go ahead and just add an alert for over 223. If it gets over that, I think a quick sell-off of 50% of the shares will be good, just to lower our average down, because I do like the rejection at $2, and if we can get our average over to the 210s, it would be a nice hold. Once again, the high of day was about 250, and I can see a slow uptrend back up to those levels. Okay, so it did get rejected right at our average, which was, unsatisfying. And it dipped right down to 210. So I'm thinking anything under 210 would be a nice place to buy in to lower that 223 average. But as of now, that 223 is a very good turning point. If we can get over it, we can start that new trend. Right now it's at 215, 217. So it wouldn't do me any good to buy in now for that average. So we're going to buy some more since I know it bounced off of 2. We're going to buy some more under 210 if it can get there. But other than that, we're just going to sit on our 223 and we're going to see where she goes. All right, so there's not a lot of movement right now. So right at 211, we got a little alert here for under 210. That's as far as it dropped on the last dip. We'll see if we can hold that. If not, I am prepared to buy more in the sub 2 area to lower this 223 down a little bit. We don't like the 50 under the 100. That's not a good sign. But we are still technically on a downtrend, fighting to make a new uptrend. And higher day was 250, and we are at 212. So not sure if all the shorts have covered yet, but there's a new round of shorts up here at 216. So that's another key level to pass for now. Okay, so we were able to get some under 210 at 208. Our new average is now 216. And hopefully we can get above that and start a new trend. But this trade isn't looking very well. We can go ahead and say it's a botched trade, and I'm just looking to get out at this point. Over 216. All right, a little bit of a good news here. We were able to sell 50% of our shares at 216 to break even. So we still have a good average at 216, although now we can double down again. And we're still aiming for under 210. If it goes under 208, even better. But I like our average at 216. Still have yet to see a true short cover, and we have a lot of chart to retrace. So we'll see what happens here. Just popped over 217. There goes my alert. And we're going to keep our 216 average and lock down a stop loss. Hopefully it goes over 222, sets a new trend. And right now we are looking okay. As you can see, it is popping over 220s now. And maybe this trade will be good. We'll see. I do believe in the retrace. I've yet to see a true short cover here. Anything over 225s, that's a new trend. And yeah, we'll see where we go from here. All right, it's been a long trade, but we are in the money now. We put a stop loss for another 50% of our shares at 220. We are sitting pretty at 216, and we are going to let that average ride for now. Anything under 216, we can easily try to lower that average, but right now it's at 227. Oh, just dropped down a little bit. But yeah, it looks like the trend is changing. You can see this volume bar is quite big. Could be the shorts covering, but we've got our stop losses tight. We are in the money, and we'll see if we can push the high a day again. Right now, 224, 227, and it looks like these shorts are getting forced to cover here. First sell target is right around 235s, it looks like, or just over 230. But if we can get this 50 over the 100, we can set that trend and sky's the limit from there. Oh, and by the way, stop losses are very tight at 220 and 217. So I do consider this a botched trade. I didn't get the dip I wanted. I mean, I said sub 2s earlier in the day, and look where it landed, 202, 205. That would have been a nice trade and a good average. But, you know, we settled for a 216 average, and we're going to set our stop losses here and here. And if it goes below that, it's too late in the day for a solid average on this thing. So if it doesn't retrace now, it's not going to retrace ever. So that's the trade for today. Let's see here, guaranteed just about 4%, 4 or 5%. So not the best. Could have done a lot better, especially with TRXC. But, you know, some trades are better than others, and if it doesn't work out, it didn't work out. So we'll see where she goes, but that'll probably be the last update. It's probably going to stop me out here, and it's trying to. But yeah, we'll have a new trade tomorrow, and hopefully it'll get a better retrace, and we can score a better average so we can hold all day instead of holding for just a few minutes.